Tons of people are saying that now is the best time to buy Bitcoin, but is that actually true? Well, it's official. The Fed just inked the deal. As of today, at the start of crypto week, the Federal Reserve, FDIC, and OCC released a joint statement giving the green light for banks to custody crypto. And they just released a groundbreaking document outlining new regulations for banks to operate with crypto that you need to see. Because with the US national debt sitting over $37 trillion, we're about to witness a new money revolution, and the crypto market is at the center of it all, specifically Ripple and XRP. So in this video, we have to break down exactly what's happening with the crypto market, looking at the charts, and the facts about which projects are actually the best to get involved in, whether it's Bitcoin or altcoins, based on previous market cycles, and what's about to happen within banks, specifically a call that I had today with Chase Bank, and what they know or what they don't know about the ISO standard, and how you can properly position yourself while there's still time to maximize your upside in the crypto market while minimizing your downside. So you're gonna love this video. Comment 777, as always, if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Hey, what's up, my friend? Nick here. Quick heads up for all you smart investors watching this. If you love to see your crypto actually working for you, earning passive income every single day on your coins, we're putting together something really cool. On July 20th, we're running our first ever free online event challenge. It's called the Crypto Passive Cash Flow Challenge. And it's basically 3 days where you'll learn our DeFi strategies we use to safely earn passive yield on our coins 24/7, even while we sleep. And some people are doing crazy numbers with this strategy alone. And if you had some coins that you're just holding on to, you should join us and discover how to put them to work. We've never done anything like this publicly before, and we probably won't ever do it again. So it's completely free, but we might have to limit spots to keep the quality high and give everyone proper attention with the size of our YouTube channel, over 360,000 subscribers now. So if you want in, just click the link below this video, grab your spot while you can, and now back to the video. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So over the past month, the crypto market is absolutely booming. You know, HBAR 55%, SEI up 92%, and some meme coins like Bonk, Pengu making a comeback. But ultimately, we see the ISO standard projects like Algorand, HBAR, we have XLM seeing the majority of the growth. And we can't forget about XTC as well too. Now, Bitcoin is over $120,000. XRP breached over $3 earlier today. And we just announced the winner of our XRP giveaway. So congrats to Misono Yelona. And if you want to win next, all you need to do, follow us on Twitter or X at BullRunnersHQ. The link for that will be in the description below. And then you'll see a pinned post. Just like it, retweet it, comment on the post, and then subscribe to our daily crypto newsletter, because that's where we'll announce the winner first. And simply for subscribing to our newsletter, you get access to our free book called Altcoin Secrets, the underground guidebook to become a crypto millionaire. Inside the book, you guys will discover 23 secrets to pinpoint explosive altcoins, time your entries and exits like a pro, build a bulletproof portfolio, and break free from the rat race by outsmarting the 99% to join the 1%. So you just click the button, put in your best email address, and boom, you're instantly subscribed. Because the crypto market is just heating up right now as Bitcoin pulls back from the local high at $123,000. Now, in my previous video, I talked about this with gold, and I compared it on the chart on what happened back here in 2024 summer when gold started to break out. We saw these short-term consolidation phases where gold would break out and then we go through a little bull flag, break out, a little bull flag, break out, another bull flag, and that's what's happening with Bitcoin right now. And if we look at the indicators here on Bitcoin's price chart compared to gold with the stochastic RSI, we can see the K line, the D line are at 10 and at 6.8 in oversold conditions on the hourly. Also, the relative strength index right now is at 47. If you look at gold here on the left-hand side of the screen, when gold pulled back from $2,700 to $2,500, look at what happened in the stochastic RSI. We reset all the way down here below 20, which is a great sign in an uptrend to find better entry points. Because like I mentioned in previous videos, you do not want to buy when we're in overbought conditions. As you can see, we experienced a bearish cross for Bitcoin all the way up here at like 5 in the morning when Bitcoin was all the way up at $123,000. If you bought in at $123,000 and you did not look at these key indicators right here, well, then you would have been buying when the relative strength index was at 86 and the stochastic was all the way up here close to 100, as overbought as we can possibly get. You want to wait for these indicators to reset in an uptrend and for price to pull back. Similar to what happened with gold right here. When the price pulled all the way back, look at what happened to the RSI. It pulled back to about 55, and then we bounced from these levels, and look at what took place for gold since then. It absolutely exploded to the upside to over $3,300. So I don't think Bitcoin is done yet, but I think we're getting close to the top. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what I'm looking for on the charts and what I can see just based on the facts, not my opinion. I form an opinion based on facts. So here's the facts. The banks are focusing on ISO 222 and digital asset adoption in the near term because most banks have projects in flight to modernize their payment platforms. While ISO 222 is the priority, they plan to launch other programs in the near term addressing everything from instant payments to ACH and other payments modernizing initiatives, and regulatory requirements are needed for that to happen. So operational efficiency and cost savings, replacing legacy systems, and changing customer expectations are the main motivations for these modernization efforts. And if you look right here, you can see in progress is purple, within 6 months is blue, and then within 1 year is green. And so digital assets right here, 1% are in progress right now. So a conversation I had with Chase Bank with a higher level employee that's in charge of ACH transfers, she didn't know anything about the ISO standard. She didn't even know what it was, which was actually pretty shocking to me because Chase is one of the biggest banks. So you guys are getting access to this information early before people who actually work for the banks get access to this information. It trickles down the pipeline. So 19% are going to be within 6 months, and then within 1 year, 69% of banks over the next 12 months. So you guys are still technically early with this information right here. But in terms of price action on the chart, the train is leaving the station right now. As we talked about in a previous video, when we see these revival patterns take place, looking at Total 2's chart in my video yesterday, we talked about the others chart, which is everything outside of the top 10, and Total 2 is everything other than Bitcoin, so it's including the top 10. And so what happens here is the large caps move first, which is why we're breaking out from this descending resistance, whereas others is actually lagging behind compared to Bitcoin. So we're going to get into this chart in a little bit and talk about what's about to happen next for the entire crypto space. But first, let's look at Total 2, because as you guys can see, back here in November 2024, when we broke this descending resistance, we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish weekly candles in a row. And right now, if we see 5 bullish weekly candles in a row, well, if it's anything like what happened here in Q4 of 2024, then we could see the Total 2 chart absolutely explode to the upside. Now, what would be the catalyst for this to take place? And what effect would this have on retail investors? Because right now, if we look at Google Trends, we can see over the past 12 months, interest has picked up a little bit later than price action, because the price action starts to move first with market makers, major hedge funds, institutions pumping the projects that they want retail to buy, and then retail FOMOs in later because they weren't subscribed to the channel watching these videos and buying when the most fundamentally sound projects are oversold. And so now we're at 53 out of 100 over the past 12 months. So retail is starting to come back, and the Fed just dropped the signal. So today, at the start of crypto week, the federal bank regulatory agencies issued a joint statement to provide clarity for banks that engage in crypto related activities, because they're getting ready to upgrade the system, because FedNow is now live, ISO 222 is rolling out globally, and the Federal Reserve, the same institution that brought us fractional reserve banking, is now being forced to evolve. So for decades, they printed money out of thin air, backed by debt, not by value, a system that enslaved generations. So now they're shifting from a debt-based money to real-world asset-backed digital value system, from opaque to transparent on-chain. So yes, the banks are coming, but we are first. And as a retail investor like the rest of us, you have the choice to opt into DeFi, self-custody, and self-sovereignty. So banks can now treat digital assets like any other asset class. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System just released this document saying the Office of the Comptrolling Currency Board of Governors of the Fed and the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation directed to all banks considering safekeeping crypto assets, basically holding an asset on a customer's behalf like they do your cash in your bank account. And so it's going to be a race for the banks to collect as much crypto as possible. So what are they going to start to do? Offer favorable yields like what they do for their high interest savings accounts. However, when you watch to the end of this video, I will show you how you can get access to the strategies that they use to earn even more yield than what they'll be paying you, because through the fractional reserve banking system, they only have to keep a fraction of income in reserves, and then they loan out the rest to businesses using your money to make more money and paying you a fraction of the yield as well too. So they've been screwing over the general public forever, and only the smart investors like you are now discovering what they do. And so I'll share that with you in a little bit. And if you guys go to the usdebtclock.org and you click on the secret window right here, you can download this PDF that talks about the new money revolution and the shift to a golden age. And it goes through 1 through 30 on how the first encrypted ledger started and interest-free tokenized assets, through the tally system, then we get into the Bank of England, then into the colonial script, and then the failed fiat currencies from the past, and how the US dollar is the next one to fail, and then the silver swindle from the Roman era to the USDC era, then how we had greenbacks back in 1862 to 1865. So I think this is really cool, and you guys can go check that out, usdebtclock.org. We'll cover this in future videos. But this is super important because the higher level executives, the CEOs of these major banks know this. They're just not telling their employees. For example, JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon has been notorious for saying one thing and doing the exact opposite.
And there are a lot of people who are approaching other people who have name brands and saying, look, we ought to get in this business. We can go borrow money and buy Bitcoin and make money.
Or Ethereum, right?
Yeah, or Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum. I used to own Ethereum. Wow, I mean, that thing was a rocket ship. Then it kind of died out. But people were actually using Ethereum to buy things. But I think there's a whole other world out there right now. And like Jamie Dimon today about private equity, he criticized, I mean, I don't know, you know how there are these sites, the site that talks about what events are going to occur? I'd like to go, I'd like to be the bookie on when he does a lot of crypto. He'll go all in crypto. Maybe he does it on the conference call. But I think
that would be a true 180.
Yeah, well, I think that's why you got to check the sites. You got to check these sites.
So a quick refresher, and for those of you guys that haven't seen this, here's JP Morgan CEO of Chase Bank and what he had to say about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
This ETF was approved just about a week ago now, and I think a lot of people are trying to understand what it ultimately means.
Yeah.
JP Morgan, I imagine if you were a client of JP Morgan, you could call your broker and say, get me some of this ETF. Mm-hmm. What are you telling your brokers to tell them back when they make that call?
Yeah. So this is an important thing. Cryptocurrencies, there are two types. There's a cryptocurrency which might actually do something. Think of a cryptocurrency as an embedded smart contract in it, and that we can use it to buy and sell real estate and move data. That may have value.
The idea of tokenizing things.
Tokenizing things that you do something with. And then there's one which does nothing. I call it the pet rock, the Bitcoin or something like that. And so on the Bitcoin, there's, first of all, and I'm not trying to make a joke here. There are use cases, AML, fraud, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, sex trafficking. Those are real use cases, and you see it being used for hundreds, maybe 50 or $100 billion a year for that. That is the end use case. Everything else is people train among themselves.
And now if you go to chase.com, JP Morgan Wealth Management, look at what they're putting on their website. JP Morgan Self-Directed Investing. Explore cryptocurrency ETFs at JP Morgan. They're actively promoting it, allowing you to discover and invest in ETFs that track the performance of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more. So talk about hypocrisy here. And so even right here, it says invest for your future on your own terms. Whether you want to invest on your own or invest with their advisors, they're going to start pushing people into these ETFs. And the everyday retail consumer is going to eat it up like clockwork, not even realizing they can make way more money applying the strategies we teach inside of Altcoin Pro. Now, when we look at the others chart relative to Bitcoin, this is others compared to BTC, which shows the ratio total market cap excluding top 10 compared to Bitcoin's market cap. Well, we can see right here, we've been in this falling wedge since the 1st of January of 2022. Now, similar to what happened back here from the 1st of January of 2018, others drastically underperformed Bitcoin and bled out relative to Bitcoin. And it wasn't until like the 1st of September of 2019 until the 1st of October of 2020, others started to make a run. Now, that was around this time frame when Bitcoin's dominance dropped from 72% all the way down here to 56%. Bitcoin was underperforming altcoins while altcoins were overperforming Bitcoin. Then we saw this little pullback after this revival pattern, which I talked about in my video yesterday. Usually when we see a breakout, we see a pullback and it's either a higher low or an equal low before we use it as a springboard to explode to the upside. And that's exactly what happened. Look at this date right here. It was the 1st of January of 2021 when others just erupted. And we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bullish green candles in a row by the 1st of May of 2021. So that was right here when Bitcoin's dominance topped out at 73% and just fell off of a shelf right here by May to about 39%. This is when others exploded to the upside. Now, we need to look for confluence here because what happened when this breakdown in Bitcoin's dominance took place? Well, if we go back to the others chart, you guys can see during that 2019 run up, the stochastic RSI came all the way up here into overbought conditions. We saw a bearish cross and it reset back down to about 33 right here. The relative strength index rallied up to about 63 and then came all the way down to about 42 and then rebounded to the upside and went back into overbought conditions for both the stochastic and the relative went upwards of 74. And so if you watched any of my previous videos, I explained how the smartest investors sell when we are in bought conditions and buy when we are in oversold conditions or relatively oversold on multiple indicators showing confluence. So let's go to Bitcoin's dominance price chart. Where were we at that time? Well, as you guys can see, on the 1st of September of 2019, Bitcoin's dominance was all the way up here. The stochastic RSI was pretty much at 100. We saw a bearish cross. The relative strength index was at about 60. That's when this rally took place for everything outside the top 10, because the stochastic RSI for others was all the way down here around 1, and the relative strength index was at like 40. The second time around, we were experiencing a higher low on the stochastic and a higher low on the relative strength index, and a higher low on the price chart. Whereas Bitcoin's dominance price chart was pretty much an equal high, but yet a lower high on the stochastic and an equal high on the relative strength index. So this was like a weak bearish divergence, but a divergence nonetheless for the breakdown. And so what's happening right now, and why is this important to pay attention to? Well, as you guys can clearly see on Bitcoin's dominance price chart, where are we? We're at 64% market cap dominance. The stochastic RSI is at 96 and 93, and we are experiencing the first little tip of the iceberg of a bearish cross right here in overbought conditions. Also, the relative strength index for Bitcoin's dominance is at 70 right now. It's at the highest it's ever been. Whereas where are we for others? Well, we're all the way down here at the apex of this falling wedge at a very critical moment right now. While the stochastic RSI is at 4 and 1.46 for the K line, the D line, drastically oversold conditions. And where is the relative strength index? At the lowest it's virtually ever been, at 36.39, all the way down here. This is extremely bullish for altcoins, guys, because when Bitcoin's dominance finally does top out, if it hasn't yet already, like let's say if we have another push up higher, and if Bitcoin runs for another leg up, similar to what happened for gold during this phase right here, if we see Bitcoin start to break out upwards of, 125, 130, 140, 150, and Bitcoin's dominance absolutely starts to cook upwards of 70%, well, then the RSI would just get even more overvalued. The stochastic RSI would stay above 80 for an extended period of time, but eventually this will come down. And when it does, in my opinion, others are going to absolutely rip to the upside. And I will play this video in the future for you several months from right now, and you will hear this exact part of the video, and you will be so grateful that you paid attention throughout the course of this whole video. Because as mainstream media starts to tell everyone and their grandparents to get into Bitcoin, it's the best time to buy Bitcoin up here, just like they did up here, just like they did up here. At the literal peak for Bitcoin's dominance, the smartest investors were rotating into a select few altcoins. And how do I know that that's about to happen? Well, because the Genius Act is about to pass Congress this week, and David Sachs, who was appointed as the US crypto and AI czar by Donald Trump, well, him and the US Treasury have made it clear trillions are in demand for US Treasuries, trillions in demand for stablecoins. And where do stablecoins live? Well, the majority of them live on Ethereum. The floodgates are about to be opened.
Stablecoins really have the potential to ensure American dollar dominance internationally, to increase the usage of the U.S. dollar digitally as the world's reserve currency, and in the process create potentially trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. Treasuries, which could lower long-term interest rates.
Now, here's why the DXY has been going down and they're orchestrating a collapse of the dollar, is because when you look at the U.S. federal spending at over $7 trillion and the U.S. federal tax revenue, well, that's a budget deficit of over $2 trillion. But here's the key to pay attention to. Is on Treasury bonds and notes and bills, they have to pay interest while they keep the effective federal funds rate high. So you can see the amount of interest that they have to pay. So if the value of the dollar is down, well, then that means they'll have to pay less interest. So as a smart business move, they would want the dollar to completely collapse and reset the system so they can wipe out the interest that they have to pay. And that's been escalating and speeding up as the US national debt increases. And this is why we're seeing a surge in the crypto market right now. It's because these institutions, these hedge funds, these market makers, they understand it and they're trying to front run 99% of retail. And when we talk about the major adoption from the banks over the next 6 to 12 months, well, Total 2's chart is exploding right now. Very similar to what happened right here. If we go through something similar, what's going to take place right here for XRP is going to be a massive move in the market cap dominance, because XRP is just right behind Ethereum. But look at where XRP is relative to market cap dominance from the past and how this chart moved all the way back here in 2014, 2017, with this massive explosion to the upside each market cycle. XRP is barely seen a little move. If XRP is already around $3 right now at only 4.7%, what do you think is going to happen when it reaches upwards of 10, 12% for the next major move in market cap. I think XRP is going to be the major leader for this next major leg up for total 2. And these green candles right here, people are going to think it's the whole industry, when in reality, a large chunk of that is going to come from XRP. Because if we look at that bull run all the way back here from 2017, when the market cap of the whole industry was only at $763 million, it went all the way up here to $500 billion. Well, what really caused that? It was this massive explosion in XRP's price chart that brought the market cap dominance from about 1% all the way upwards of 20% of the whole entire industry. That wasn't just random, guys. That happened for a reason. And it's about to take place again for XRP. We've just had to go through this painstaking process of suppression due to the SEC targeting Ripple. It was the longest lawsuit in crypto history. That tells you everything that you need to know. Why was the SEC not as aggressive for any other cryptocurrency? Why were they going after Ripple and XRP? It's because they were trying to slow down the adoption of the inevitable. And the US CPI and core CPI data will drop tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just expect volatility. But if we look at the CME group for the next FOMC meeting, it's in 15 days, 19 hours. Well, the expectation here is 94.8% are expecting the Fed to keep rates current again and not have a rate cut. And then by the 17th of September, 60% are expecting a 25 basis point rate cut. And so inflation has been dropping closer to the 2% target. Donald Trump has been hammering Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. But here's the key to understand here is inflation will never go away. It's permanent. Their goal is 2%, which means you're going to lose 2% on your income every single year. So what banks are doing is they've been trying to entice you with high interest savings account, which aren't really that high interest, which is why on July 20th, we're going to show you guys how to safely turn your HODL portfolio into passive daily cash flow, no matter the market conditions, whether we're in a bull market, ranging market, bear market. Through 3 live sessions, we'll reveal the exact DeFi system that our team uses to beat traditional market returns without watching charts all day or losing sleep over volatility. And you can click the link in the description below, get your free ticket, and you can check out what will be covered on these events for each day. It starts July 20th and July 22nd. We'll have some VIP sessions that you guys can get access to once you click the link and you watch the video on the other side. And you want to make sure you attend every single day, because by day 3, you're going to discover the top stable yield pools currently earning roughly 6 to 10% with low risk and 0 technical headaches, and some of them even higher than that. So check it out. I know you're going to absolutely love it. And make sure you watch this video at altcoinpro.com. That way you can get access to over 100 plus expert curated classes on every single sector of crypto that you can possibly imagine, and all of the altcoin picks that our research team discovers before we ever make a video about them. You're going to get access to them first. For example, our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called Sui, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100 plus expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below, get in right now, watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.